Hey, this is your boy Carlos Estrada with the Business Funding and Whiskey channel, guys. Thank you for being here with us. Today we have David Stodolak. He's the CEO of Solo Direct Marketing in the CRO of Connection Holdings. Now he's an expert at lead generation and rapid campaign scaling, high performing call center. He knows a lot about this business, but when it comes to lead generation. Now his brands include Solo Direct Marketing. He's a senior direct marketing for home direct marketing, depth direct marketing, and connect the dots. Now, this man has sold over 100 millions of leads, resulting over a half a billion in revenue for his clients. Two of his companies have made the Inc. 500 and the 5,000 list of the fastest growing companies, with Solo Direct Marketing landing on number 187 and Connecting the Dots landing on number 214. Hey, David, how you doing today? Thank you for being here today. I know you're very busy. Actually, we met a couple weeks ago, and since then, this man hasn't stopped. To the point that today we wanted to toast to him because he needs to actually be so honing in his business. He's doing a cleans. How you doing, brother?
Doing
Welcome.
well, thank you.
Welcome, David.
Welcome.
So
So,
great to be here.
guys, we also have Brock with us. Brock Ritolo. He is our sales director. This is the man that actually put things together. He's the glue within EV Capital. So, hey, Brock, how are you today, man?
Good, man. Good. Wonderful day, man.
What are we drinking today,
complaints.
man? What are you drinking today?
Oh, I've been stuck on a little Jack Daniels lately, so
Nice.
that's the Tennessean in me. So
Nice.
little.
So, Glenlivet. So, today I went to get some whiskey and I found the Glenlivet, but I found it's called the Spice, Caribbean Spice. Never seen it before. You know, you always see the bottle is either black or red, or green. I saw this one red and caught my eye. It was a little expensive, but I needed to try it, but it's amazing, man. It has a kick, a little sweet, but it's very spice. Nice bourbon, bro. So, whiskey to everybody. Salute
Where's the
to everybody.
bottle? You got
Oh,
the
it's
bottle
in
at your
there.
feet? Let's see it.
Nah, let's so, guys, salute to you guys.
Salute.
All right, man. Take us away, Brock.
All right. So, David, hey, welcome. And for those of you watching us today, if you've never seen us before, we're taking a casual and unconventional approach towards everything business. Okay. So, if you're sitting at home, pour yourself a nice glass of whiskey and let's get down to it. So, David, first and foremost, like Carlos said, hey, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to come and join us and kind of talk to the masses about what you do. So that's my first question, David. What is it that you do?
Yeah, great to be here first and foremost. I wish I could join you guys with the drinking, but I decided to do a juice cleanse today because I drank too much in Las Vegas at Affiliate Summit. And last time I saw Carlos, I think we had a couple of drinks together. So that's what's going on. So to answer your question, I'm involved in digital marketing, lead generation particularly. We have several companies. Carlos mentioned a few of them. And we generate leads and we buy leads and sell leads to our clients. We have some very big clients in the industries, many different industries, mainly in solar. We've been doing solar since 2016.
Oh, wow.
I have a company called Solar Direct Marketing. We work with several of the top 10, I think 7 of the top 10 residential solar companies buy leads from us. And we work with dozens of other companies as well. As you know, solar's been growing tremendously. Renewable energy's been hot. President Biden passed, and when this Inflation Reduction Act, they extended the tax credit for solar another 10 years. They brought it back to 30%, which was amazing for the industry. Gave it a really big boost in the arm. Good for companies like ourselves as well. So we're involved in solar. We are also involved in other verticals as well, such as debt settlement. A lot of Americans have a lot of credit card debt. I think it's just past $1 trillion in credit card debt, which is a record. So there's a lot of Americans looking to, get relief with their credit card debt. So they click on ads and then we sell those leads to our clients who help them get out of debt. So debt's another big vertical for us. We're also involved in the Affordable Care Act, also known as Obamacare. A lot of Americans are looking to get insurance. So they click on ads, whether it's on Instagram, TikTok, YouTube, wherever method. And then we sell those to our clients as well. So we're involved in a lot of different areas. We have a company called Connecting the Dots, which is big in data. We have a lot of data for homeowners that are looking to maybe do some home improvement in their homes, looking for solar, looking for other verticals. So that's a whole other dimension as well. So the Solar Direct side is more the live lead side. And then the Connecting the Dots is the data side. And we also have a call center as well, which also provides services for our clients. So
Oh,
What we're
wow.
trying to do is provide different services. We want to be we don't see ourselves as just a lead vendor. We see ourselves as a partner with our clients. And what I noticed early in the industry is that I'd have a client buying maybe Facebook leads from me, but they're buying data from another company, or they're buying transfers from another company. I'm like, what? I'd rather they buy it all from me, or as much of that as possible from me. So that's what we try to do. We try to get to the top of the funnel instead of being at the bottom. We try to do all, encompass as many aspects as we can. And at the end of the day, we look at the value creation. Are we creating value for our clients? Because if you're not creating value for your clients, it doesn't matter what you're selling them, right? So we're very cognizant of that. We have very good relationship with our clients and with our partners. And I think that's been the key to our success.
I mean,
Wow.
that's amazing that you said a very good relationship with your clients. So in this case, your clients is actually the companies that are buying leads from you, right?
Correct. Yeah, we call them in the lingo is advertisers in the space. Advertiser or clients, installers, but we call them advertisers. The advertisers are the ones buying the media, buying the leads for their call centers.
And that's a great thing. That's a great concept. And this is something that we always talk about. As a business today, and we talk about business, all business funding, and obviously we drink some whiskey, but we
Yeah,
talk about how
yeah,
the networking that you need to do, or the relation that you need to have with your client. That is the easiest sell that you can have. And you need to cater to your current clientele, instead of, because this is one of the biggest mistakes that a lot of businesses do. They get someone through the door, they sell, and they go out and try to get new clients, instead
yeah.
of catering to the ones they already have and continue to actually cater to them. And that will continue. In this case, that's what you do. You create a relationship, and business is coming around, right?
Yeah, I mean, you're right. I mean, the easiest clients to generate more revenue for are your existing clients, right? And you spend so much money. You saw you came to our booth at Affiliate Summit. We had,
Correct.
I
Yeah.
think, 11 people. We had 11 people there.
Yeah.
And it costs a lot of money. I mean, we spent $13,000 on our booth. We had two booths there,
Yeah.
13,000 bucks. You're talking about we have to fly 10 people out there, get their hotel rooms, pay for dinners, do this and do that. So we spent a
Yeah.
lot of money there in an effort. Two reasons. We want to meet existing clients that we haven't met face to face. That helps a
Mhm.
lot. Secondly, we want to gain new clients. But the point is that there's a lot of acquisition costs that it comes to get a new client. When I sell leads, they're trying
Yeah.
to get new clients is what they're trying to do, right? So we make a living off of that. But the key
Of
is that
course.
when you have a good client, you want to grow with them. In our business, the beauty is that, especially with solar, we have clients that have gone from $14 million a year in revenue to $500 million a year in revenue, right?
Wow.
And that particular client, we're their first lead that worked online. They spent $20,000 in leads from other companies. They're like, screw this. We're not buying any more leads anymore from anybody. And then I happened to have someone that used to work for me, a good friend, became their call center director. He's like, you got to give my man Dave a shot, whatever. They gave us a shot. They got a sale, and they're like, let's go off to the races. And they've been buying leads from us for 7 years, and now they're a top 5 solar company in America. So the point is that it's when you as they grow, you grow with them. So as they grew from 14 million to the number they're at, we have another client that grew from, I don't know, probably 20 million, and they got bought out for $1 billion last year. We helped them grow tremendously too. So as they grow, you grow with them,
Yeah.
and that's the beauty of it. That you may start off with an order for $2,000, and that $2,000 order, if that works well, the next order is 5,000, next order is 10,000. Before you know it,
Right.
they're doing multiple 6 figures a month with you. They're spending $500,000 a month with you, and
Yeah.
then you're off to the races. So it's a template. You follow that one template with one client, then you do it with other clients, and that's where you really start to grow.
Mm.
And you know what? And that's awesome. So you can answer what the lead generation was. What you do, you actually provide the leads, as provide almost a client to each one of these companies.
Mhm.
Now, there's a lot of verticals out there. In this case, I know you concentrate in the solar industry. Now, is there any way that you can also, if a client right now or someone is looking into their vertical, and how much they should be investing and paying for leads? Is there a formula to that, or that different from state to state, demographic, or industry?
It really comes down to whatever industry you're in. How much more money, how much profit are you going to make on a client, right? What is their
Yeah.
value? How much revenue you make? How much profit do you make? And then what percentage of that profit you should dedicate to marketing? Everyone has different formulas. I hear some people say 10%, some say 20%, some say 30%. So it really depends on, how, if your profit margins are high,
Yeah.
If you're getting 60-70% margin, you can allocate more of a budget towards that because you're going to get more of return for it. But you have low margins, you can't spend as much. So it really depends really on your margins. And if you know that for every dollar that you spend on marketing, it's going to generate you 50%, then you know that formula. But you got to really know your numbers at the end of the day. And each business is different. So in solar, and the average system costs around $35,000, but they're going to be making, after all said and done, they might make 10% net profit after they pay this, pay that, right? And then there's a lot of cancellations that go on, anywhere from 20 to 40% of people are going to cancel. So it might look like 25% gross margin, but then when it's all said and done, it's 10-15%. So you got to know your numbers, and if you don't know your numbers, you don't know how much money you can spend in marketing, right? So that's really where it starts off with. You got to know your numbers like the back of your hand. And if you don't know your numbers, I mean, you're going to be out of business pretty soon. So once you know your numbers, you know how much you can allocate. And then once you find a lead source or a campaign that works, then you can press the gas a little bit and be like, okay, this month I made, I don't know, $10,000 on this campaign. Let me double down. Let me just put an extra 2,000, 5,000, see what it does. If it does it again, then I would that's when you go into, someone like you with, again, funding to put more money, more of that funding towards marketing, because they know for every dollar that they spend, they're going to get X amount back. So then it's worth it. But you really got to know your numbers. The companies that know their numbers are the ones that succeed at the end of the day. And we see it too. We see clients that they'll be hot, but they don't know their numbers, and then they're out of business a year later. Wow. And that doesn't help us either. We want them to continue to do well, because then they're going to keep buying leads from us, right? So
that's true.
You got to know your numbers at the end of the day.
That's awesome. That's awesome.
So David, I got a question for you. I mean, you're highly successful in the lead generation industry and other industries, but my question is for lead generation. What would you tell a business owner why it's important to work with a lead generation company?
Really, the lifeblood of any company is sales, right? New clients. And it's hard to generate a new client. You can do so much from word of mouth, from referrals, but you got to cast a net, right? So what I say a lot of times, we cast a net is what we do. And we cast a net with leads. You cast a net, you get 100 leads. And out of those 100 leads, there's going to be 20 to 30% should be really good. And there's going to be 5 to 10% that's gold. And there's going to be a lot of garbage in there. But you got to be able to cast a wider net. The wider net you cast, the more success you're going to have. So when you're just relying on just referrals or old school methods, you have some success, but you're going to be limited. And then that's, Gary Vaynerchuk's a really good example. I'm sure you know Gary V, right?
Yeah,
Gary V, they started off, his parents came from, I forgot, I think somewhere in Russia or one of those countries, and they came to America. They started a liquor store in Millburn, New Jersey. Now, I grew up in New Jersey. I went to high school in Morristown, New Jersey. I used to pass his liquor store. They called it the Wine Library. I think they were doing a couple million in revenue, and Gary was out of college, and he saw the internet. Like, this internet's going to be big. So what he said was, he told his parents, why are we just selling liquor to Millburn, Springfield, New Jersey, this local area, Short Hills, New Jersey? We can sell liquor online, and we can ship it to California. And this was like in 2005. His parents thought he was a moron. Can I curse on this podcast, by the way?
You can definitely do that, brother. We're drinking whiskey. You could definitely curse.
Good. Because, I mean, I curse a lot. I'm surprised I haven't cursed yet, but he does.
No. Welcome.
I had a passion, and then I mean, we have some Latin blood in us too. So the point is a lot of passion here. But the point is that they're making like a couple million. They're making a couple million a year selling liquor in a local area. So Gary's like, why the fuck are we selling liquor in California? And his parents told he's like, you're a fucking moron. I mean, who's gonna buy liquor? They're gonna go to the local liquor store. So what he did was he went on YouTube and started doing. He would taste liquor wine and he would grade it. First day, 1 viewer, next day, 5 viewers. He put out content every single day for like a couple years, and something went viral that he did. And that's before he knew it, that liquor store. I remember I drove by there one day. It was from like a small place. It was like a building of 5 floors. And they started doing I think they went to like 10 million, 20 million, 60 million. That's the power of marketing and lead generation. That's a perfect example, because this is a local little shop, liquor store, right? That was doing not much. They were doing okay. 2 million, 2 million. You can't knock that. A lot of people don't even get to 2 million. They did it with old school methods, And then Gary comes out of nowhere. He sees the internet, he sees YouTube, and you look at the videos, they weren't even like, they were like old school videos. He was raw. He would drink a wine, like, oh, this shit sucks, spit it out. He was really raw, and you can't fake that. He was so genuine, and that the shit went viral. Now look at the guy now. I mean, I think he made 90 million last year on a weekend off an NFT. You know,
amazing.
So that's a perfect example of why you need to be aware of what's going on in the digital marketing space, and it's changing all day long. There's this Chat GPT thing that's AI thing's going to change everything. So you got to be aware of what's going on. And when you're spending money in it, you're forced to be aware. You're forced to watch your dollars, and then by osmosis, you grow. I mean, we were never doing TikTok for solar. I heard about now we're doing TikTok for solar. You know, we had one quarter, we were spending $15,000 a day with them on TikTok ads. $15,000 amount of money. You know, and he was making good money doing that. So the point is that you got to be in it to win it, man, and you got to diversify. And it really comes down to diversification. If you only have one way of getting leads, if that way's done, you're fucked. You need to have multiple ways of getting leads, and digital marketing has to be. In this day and age, everything's digital marketing. Everyone's online. You know,
no, that's true, man. And you know what? To us, that's actually something that we have to learn the hard way. I mean, digital marketing was something that we were not experts in. I mean, we knew what we knew when it came down to business lending, business development, operations, and we try every little thing. Don't tell me. I mean, from going organically to actually meeting the people that are actually doing this business, like you, and open our eyes. But as a business owner, you also have to be coachable, and that's one thing that people like you're saying. Gabby's parents, they say, "No, you're more, and you don't go that way." You also got to be open because things are changing, and unfortunately, you know, some of us are getting older. Some of us, like when I first started my business back in 2020, November 2020. I only had a Facebook account, man. Today you find us everywhere. But I was forced to learn. I was forced to actually get with the wave because that's where we're going. Now imagine that I wouldn't have done that. We wouldn't be here right now doing a podcast. I never thought we were doing a podcast. We never thought that we actually be doing TikTok videos. Never thought we would be doing a lot of the things that we're doing. But you have to actually evolve. And that's one thing. If you don't evolve, you go out of business. One thing, marketing, this is what something we preach. Marketing is very important. Just like 2 out of 3 businesses go out of business in the first 2 years because of lack of capital. You also need capital, you need funding, and you need to be able to, people know you so that you can make money.
Exactly. No, I think evolution. That's what you got to evolve, and then business evolve, marketing evolves, and you have to adapt. And that's kind of what Gary Vee did in that story. He saw YouTube being big, content. Parents didn't get it. You know, they thought he was crazy, but now, you know, look, they're happy as hell with him, right? So it's like,
right,
you have to evolve. You got to always be looking out for an edge. I mean, especially in this day and age, information is at your fingertips, or before that didn't exist, right? So
correct.
The point is that you got to always evolve. I think that's a key point that you said, is that evolution component. Yeah.
And with that too, man, you know, something that, and when we talk about you got to evolve, sometimes, and I get it, there's so much garbage in the internet right now. People always talking, we don't even know what's true, what's not in different fields that we don't know nothing about. But the good thing is get to places, network, like how we met. I definitely, I didn't know what I was going to do in an affiliate summit. I'm not an affiliate. I know that I went there with my mind open. I need to network. I need to find out what other people are doing, how we can help each other out. How can I provide value to all other industries? Because like that, by providing value, and I can also gonna gain value for mine. And that's what we need to do. Get out of your own bubble as a business owner. Get out of where you're at and get out there. You never know who you're going to meet. Like I made 5 key relationships just going to an affiliate summit. I'm not an affiliate. We are not affiliates here. But you know, we love to work with people like you now, because now we created those relationships, that those companies that are able to allow us to grow. And guess what? They make money, but we're going to be making more too, because then they know an industry that we have no knowledge about, but we're also going to get the help. You know, we're going to work together and grow together. So it's amazing though. So let me ask something, because I know I saw a video about you, and this is what we were talking about earlier, in which I love. You were giving a presentation in a mansion in Beverly Hills, right?
Yeah.
Amazing. please talk to us because and Brock, I don't think you've seen this video, but
No, I didn't.
it's a huge screen in front of a fireplace, and I'm like, yo, that's a nice stage. She said, no, that was the living room, man. That's a mansion in the Beverly Hills. No, but he was doing some great points. Like he knows what he's doing. Like he said, I flew 10 of my people over there. I know that it's an expense. One of the main things you got to keep in mind too as a business owner, all of these things is also a business expense. So at the end of the year, we're going to put it towards the taxes. But at the same time, it's something that you put out there in order to bring more business. You got to be smart how you spend your money. But let's talk to us about the power of networking, because you are a hell of a networker. I saw you. I was trying to talk to him a couple of times. This guy was running around the club, half drunk, still networking. Hey, I got to go see you. Met the man. I'm like, where did he go?
I love that. Yeah, that's true. I don't stop, man. I'm always networking, man. I'm always looking I listen a lot to what I try to find people's pain points or companies' pain points and how we can help them alleviate that pain point. And I was telling my team that the other day, there was someone in particular that's having this issue. We work with a lot. I mean, you've seen it. I mean, a lot of people in the digital marketing space and in the affiliate summit, the top producer, they're printing money. They're making so much money. They're making so much money that they're leaking a lot of money, but they don't realize they're leaking it, and it bothers them, but they can't focus on it because it'll take them backwards, right? But so when I find things like that, I try to find a way to fix that issue for them. So we fix that issue for them. They love you. You're like they love you forever. Like you got that loyalty, you got that trust, and then they'll listen to whatever you say. So I'm always. It's funny because I might be out there, like you said. I was at the party and I'm drinking, but I'm hustling. I'm listening. I'm taking down notes, and I have my team do the same exact thing. But I'm sorry. I think we were talking about the power of networking, right?
And you are talking about it. That's what you were doing when you were drinking. You were actually talking to people.
Yeah, and that's what it is. You're listening to what's going on and how you can fill in that gap. What is their void and how they can help you fill your gap, so the void. And I think really networking is really about creating partnerships. And I think that's what you were talking about before. You create a partnership where you can help this person get to their goal, whatever they want to do from A to B. How do you get there from A to B in a way that makes sense, and a way that's not going to get them in trouble, that's going to be compliant, and in a way that's going to be an enjoyable relationship? Because there's so many people you'll meet that you do business with, but half of them are like jerk offs, man. Who has time to deal with a jerk off? It's just draining, right? It really is. So the point is, we don't deal with jerk offs anymore. And when I spoke at that mansion, that was the Geek Out event. They changed the name to Geek X. I really recommend following them. They have a lot of great talent there, a lot of phenomenal people that are crushing it. But the point is that they have a motto: no douchebags allowed at their event. It's funny. I'll say jerk offs, no jerk offs. But I love that because everyone that's there, everyone that spoke, they're all making a lot of money, right? But no one's here trying to flex and being egomaniac, say, "Oh, I did this," or people are trying to learn from each other, and everyone there is very humble. They know that there's things that they're not the best at, that they came here to listen to and get better at. So I think that's really the power of networking, is that connecting yourself with people that are driven the way you're driven, right? If they're driven, they'll make things happen. And then finding out, okay, you guys are involved in business funding, and I'm not doing too much there. I do have some campaigns I could probably do, and maybe we can talk about it. But that's something that's how we connect. That's how we create a partnership. And by us creating a partnership, and then really the thing is, when you create those partnerships through networking, you got to make sure you deliver on your promises. Your word is your bond. So if I tell you I'm going to deliver 100 leads by next week, you're going to have a staff ready to take those calls. And if I don't do that, I'm fucking you over, right? So, and if you tell me you're going to pay me, within a week or two, whatever the heck, if you don't pay me on time, then I start thinking, okay, and maybe something happened. I don't know, maybe something happened first. But if you pay, let me know, hey, Dave, something happened. Are you going to get paid tomorrow? And you do it, okay, we're good. But when you don't honor your word, you lose credibility. And then guess what? People don't want to do business with you. And in my business particularly, word gets around really, really fast. And I'm sure like your business too. If someone's a deadbeat, that doesn't pay their bill on time, no one's going to want to work with them. They kind of get blacklisted from the crew because people know this guy's a jerk off. I don't want to deal with him, right? Yeah. That's the thing, is that you got to honor your word. So networking, and you go to these events, you meet people, and then you got to follow up with them. Once you follow up with them, you honor your word. If you say you're going to do something, do it. Be on time to the meeting. Something comes up, do it. Like you had told me about this podcast, and you sent me a thing. You called me up. Hey, did you get it? That's great. You're following up, right? I got it. I looked at it, and now we're on here. I honored my word. But so many people just don't
appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, it's really old school stuff, but I think people forget about that. It's a simple thing that works. So that to me has really been the secret. And honoring your word, doing what you're supposed to do, showing up when the hell you're supposed to show. And if things go wrong, they will go wrong. Fucking, saying, okay, this went wrong. I'm sorry. This is what happened. This is how we're gonna fix it. Fix the shit,
Correct.
and then you do it. Don't keep repeating the same mistake, because once you do, you're someone who's all show and no go.
So that's amazing. You said that. That's awesome. You know what? I don't know if you know my background. I'm in the military, so I was in the military for 22 years.
In Venezuela, in Venezuela, or
no, over here in the United States.
Cool.
I was in the Marine Corps in the Army. Huh?
Nice. I appreciate your service. My dad was in the Marines too.
Awesome. Well, tell them I said Semper Fi.
Nice.
Appreciate
so one of the things that I used to say to everybody, and that's one of the things, you got to own up to your mistakes. People respect that, because when you start tap dancing on the things that you didn't do and making excuses, that's when people lose faith in you. And it's good. And as a man and as a woman, and I say you man up. We talk about man up, and so we're gonna be a little more blunt in this podcast. One of the main things is like own up to, if something goes wrong, gonna go wrong. Trust me, Murphy's law is always in effect in everything we do. Murphy's law is always in effect. If things goes wrong, you know what? Own up to it. Like David say, hey, this is the way that we're gonna fix it. This is the way that I could fix it, or how can we work together in order to fix it? Because you know what, not everything's gonna go the same way, but at the same time, your word's your bond, especially if you want to get to a point that you want to get to the next level of your industry. You want to be known. Like you said, people are going to know who you are. And little by little, if you are that person, they're gonna just cast you out instead of keeping you and putting you inside the circle. So, and again, as a business, wherever you are today, if you're starting a business, keep these things in mind, because wherever you are, they are going to be key on moving forward and developing that business and actually being successful at it. What's your thought on that, Brock?
Yeah, no, I mean, again, well said. Your word is your bond. So I think that's highly important from a business aspect. And then we were talking about evolution of a business and trying to stay on top of that. And I also think that's really important as well. I mean, the day and age that we're in right now, there's no more old school business owners, right? In order to be the top of your industry, the top of your field, you need to move with the markets. So, David, my next question for you here is, you own a couple of really successful businesses. What inspired you to quit your 9-to-5 and start doing your own thing, be an entrepreneur?
Did you ever had a 9-to-5?
Oh yeah, no, for sure. Yeah, I think most business owners have, right? And that 9-to-5 is what drives you to do it on your own. And 9-to-5s are good though, because you get to learn a lot. You get, especially if it's a good company that's got good management. I mean, you can learn a lot, and you get paid, to create some value. And usually you're capped, obviously, but if you can look at it, you shift your mentality to where like, well, what can I learn from this? That you can learn, you can grow so much tremendously. No, I had a lot of 9-to-5s, and fortunately, some of them were some very successful companies. There was one company in particular. I guess I don't know. I guess it was a call center director. I don't remember what my title was. This was like 18 years ago, so long ago. But it became the fastest growing student loan consolidation company in the industry, and that's how I learned about lead gen and call centers and married the whole thing. I wasn't involved in the lead gen side. I wasn't involved in running the call center, but I know that we had different lead types for different people. We would dial them a certain way, and I would make sure that the leads were being converted. So I was the Energizer Bunny, throwing chairs, getting people excited, keeping the motivation up, right? But with that being said, that was a 9-to-5. I was a W-2 employee, but that's really where I learned the marriage between leads and call centers, and really that's where I learned. I knew a little bit about sales, but that took my sales career to the next level. And I would say that, from working there and seeing the success that the owners had, and hearing stories about how well they did, and seeing their lifestyle, seeing the houses they would buy, and I grew up here in the northern Jersey area. I went to NYU. I went to NYU during the .com bubble. Back then you could be bullshit.com and you were worth millions. It doesn't matter what the hell. As long as you got a .com, you're worth millions. You get out of college. Unfortunately, when I got out of college, the dot-com bubble imploded, the market stock, I think the NASDAQ went from 5,000 to like 1,200. And 9/11 happened. It was just a bad time to be around, man. The economy just went to crap. So the point is that I always had, I think growing up in this area, and and when you're in sales, you're always money driven, right? Money hungry. I went to NYU. I saw the .com stuff. I saw people trading stocks. I was trading stocks. I'd see money being made. I'm like, I gotta get a piece of this, man. So, and then my mom, listen, we talked about Venezuela. My mom came from Venezuela. I mean, she came here in America in the late 1970s. She was making $6 an hour, man, working double shifts. So I learned my work ethic from my mom. That's my whole Venezuelan side. I mean, I'm more closer with that side. I grew up with my mom. They all had incredible work ethic. They instilled that in me, and I think that work ethic is what really helped separate me from the rest of the employees. And one of the owners of that student loan consolidation, the main owner, said to me, he remember every Saturday I would come in, I would open up the call center. I didn't even get paid extra for that. I don't know. I felt like I had to do it. I would get bonus, but it helped separate me from everyone else. And now he wants to do business with me. We had a meeting the other day, and like he's doing all these crazy things. He wants to do business, but he remembered that. He's like, Dave, I remember your work ethic. I'm like, I'm not surprised you're doing well. Congratulations, man. You deserve all of it. But really going back to what I was saying is that seeing all that stuff, seeing how other people were doing well, I knew I could do it myself too. So I worked at a couple other companies, and I got to the point where I realized I was making so many people so much money, and I was getting paid good too. Don't get me wrong. I was making, multiple six figures. And for most people, they'd be content with that. But I knew I was worth more. I knew my own self-worth, and I knew what I was capable of doing. And then I started this company, Solo Direct, as a side business, man. I did this because I wanted to work on my own. I saw where Solar was going. I got like 6 people making calls from home. It started to make money where I think the first month maybe it made 3,000, then it made 5,000, then it made like once you crack that 5 figure, that 10,000, like, oh shit, this is for real. Yeah. So I realized if I can make 50% more than what I'm making right now I was consulting at 1099 at the time, I'm gonna go full speed with it. And I got to the point where I was doing that. So I moved back. I was living in South Carolina. I was building a call center there for like 5 years, a really successful call center. Moved back to New Jersey, and I went full speed. And don't get me wrong, there was times where I was like, "What the fuck did I just do?" I wanted to like fucking punch myself. It was like I left in this money stable, and I went into my own career. And I have 1 month I made all this money. Next month I did this. It was like all this, and my wife was pregnant. I'm like, moron, man. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me, man? I think every business owner has that, right? Like, so.
So what you're saying is that being a business owner is not easy, right?
No, you got to go through this shit, man. You got to get through the dip. I mean, there's a book called The Dip, right? They talk. You got to go through the dip, and you got to question yourself, man. And you're like, but if you just stick around long enough, some shit's gonna happen, right? You just got to stick around. And that's where the capital comes into play. You got to have the fucking capital. You're gonna have something coming in to get you through there, and then. Then you get out of that. And then before you know it, there's a point where shit clicks. And for me, that was like, I think it was like April 2019. All of a sudden, everyone wanted solar leads. First, I thought it was a joke. They would find us online on Google. We were ranking organically. I didn't realize we were ranking organically. I thought, and people were sending us money like, wow. So I had to hire some salespeople, and we started to really freaking expand. But
that's awesome.
It took a while. It took a good 3 years of this kind of shit, and times where I was like, I felt like a fucking loser. I'm like, man, I got a kid on the way. I accumulated some credit card debt. And I'm like, I'm better than this. Like, what the fuck? But I knew in my heart things were going to be okay. I really knew in my heart that I was onto something. It was just a matter of time. And then, boom, it just clicked. And, we just took off and haven't looked back.
Awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah.
You know what? So you got to stick together. You got to believe in yourself. That's one thing, and that's a true American dream right there. That nothing is easy, but if you stick to it, if you learn, because you learn a lot from the whole process. You learn about yourself. You learn about resiliency, not only in yourself, but in the business, but you learn how to make the business so much better. And that's what people don't understand. When you quit, a lot of people, you won't know if there was success if you quit, period. So as a business owner, one of the main things that we got to tell you is, look, it's not going to be easy. Let's not sugarcoat it. It's not going to be easy. You need to be able to also invest back into the business, because you didn't make $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 and went out and got a Ferrari, right?
No, not at all, man.
Okay, so you put it back into the business, right?
Yeah, that's what you got to do. I mean, listen.
There we go.
Where I live in Jersey, right? I had a view of Manhattan. I got this beautiful view of Manhattan where I live in. there's times where I could have got like a penthouse there or done this and done that. But I chose not to because you need cash for your business. And I'm in a kind of business where we have people on net terms, net 7, net 15, net 30. The bigger these companies are, the longer their terms are. Like, and you got to play by their own rules. You can't negotiate with them. You got companies that are billion-dollar, multi-billion-dollar companies that'll pay you net 30. So, that doesn't matter. It doesn't matter if it's $50 or it's $5 million. You got to wait 30, 45 days to get paid. We have a client that, man, they multiple hundreds of thousands of dollars we have to wait 60 days for. Wow. So the thing is that for me, cash is so important. And, now we have a pretty good war chest. It's not like it was. But when I looked at this penthouse, really for motivation, because I'm like, when I get to the point I can do this, I'm going to freaking do it, right? But I want to see myself, to motivate myself. But at that point, I could have made a down payment there. But if I did that, it would have taken so much money away from the business that I'm glad I didn't make that decision, because that money, I needed that in certain hard times to weather the storm for 30, 60 days. So you just know, you got to intuitively, and listen, I'm a little older. I'm 43. I've been around the block. So I think that, I've seen the .com bubble. I've seen people make tons of money, lose it. So I think also, coming from my mom, the Latin side of the family, they're always, always worried about a rainy days. Like I'm not that concerned about that, honestly, but you always got the stuff in the back here, and you got to have a nice cash flow, and nice savings, because that, I know that my cash, I can turn $1 into $3, right? So the more cash I have, the more I can allocate it and then do that. So definitely not a Ferrari. Don't get me wrong, I have a nice car, but if I exited my companies, and came into massive 8-9 figure payments, then that probably I'd pat myself on the back and be like, okay, now it's time to get the fucking Ferrari, Porsche, whatever.
So, but there's nothing wrong with that. So don't so for everybody listening, I mean, it's good, and that's his work ethic, and that's amazing. But you know what? You got to pay yourself no matter what. But you got to be smart how you pay yourself. You could start paying yourself and put it into an asset that is going to spit out positive cash flow. Guess what? You didn't waste the money, but now that asset will buy you the Ferrari, if possible, if you actually smart about it. So what I'm saying is, make sure that you invest back into your business, and don't go crazy when you start making money.
Yeah. And it's easy. I'll tell you one thing too. Don't get me wrong. I have a lot of friends in this business that do have Lamborghinis, that have Ferraris, but they have a lot of cash, and they know how much they're making per month. And they've been doing this for years. They didn't do that right away and get the Ferrari. They waited 5-6 years. And I got some friends that they bought like Lamborghinis cash for, like, I don't know what it was, like 200, 250,000,
300.
And you know what happened? Like 6 months later, they were worth 400,000. They flipped them. It's like, I don't know what the car marketplace has changed dramatically since then, but I remember hearing these stories. I'm like, damn, I should have gotten the damn Lamborghini or Ferrari, because I could have made $100,000. But you got to. There's a time and place for everything. You have to know your gut, and you have to know your numbers. Where you're at. So some people go ahead and do it. You can do it, no problem. You got to know your business, and you got, again, going back to what I said again, you got to know your numbers. You got to know your cash flow, your clients, the seasonality of your business. There's a lot of different aspects that fall into place for that.
Brother, let's talk about, I mean, you have an amazing career. You got a couple companies in the 500 and the 5,000 Inc. Now, tell us, what is the best story that you have? Success stories in all of your businesses.
That's a good question. I mean, I like to think about my partnerships, right? I think about the clients that have gone from, like I said, 14 million to 500 million. The clients that have gone from, I don't know, again, another client, 20 million to being bought out for $1 billion. I mean, I've seen so many. Awesome. I think, what I think it is, and I'll answer your question, but, I grew up, I told you about how I grew up, right? My mom came to the country. No, she didn't graduate college. Had to take, menial jobs to put food on the table, right? $6.25 an hour is what she would earn. And then when you're young, and I grew up in, I don't know if you guys know Jersey, Elizabeth, Newark, New Jersey, very blue collar, and Newark was the most dangerous city in the country when I lived there.
I lived in Newark for a while, by the way. By Ferry Street.
Yes. I lived there. It was a carjack.
I used to live there.
I tell you a funny thing. We moved to Newark. I was like 5 years old, and I met a friend. And I don't know why we're hanging out on the streets. He showed me something where some guy got knocked. They killed this guy. They knocked out his head, and like you can see the blood still. He showed me this. I'm like, fuck, I don't know why you showed me this, but whatever. Like, a lot of stuff. I saw a guy got shot in front of my house one time. The cops came. I thought it was a new TV. We got a new TV, the Lethal Weapon came out. I thought the TV had great sound effects. Meanwhile, they really shot somebody. When I was 8 years old, that the body's outlined in chalk. I go outside, I see cops. I didn't see the body. It was covered in like a blanket or something, or white, whatever. And you see the chalk there for days. You can't make this shit up, right? But the point is, like, you grew up in those environments. I used to think that rich people were bad. I had a distorted mentality of money because I didn't have any money, right? And then you just grew up, you watched movies or whatever the hell I was watching back then. You're like, these rich people, fuck these guys, blah, blah, blah. And then, because you're just in that environment, you're not exposed. And then as I got older, I wound up moving to a different part of New Jersey, Morristown, New Jersey, which was more diverse. Morristown's got rich, it's got poor, it's got middle class, it's got everything. It's got black, white, Hispanics. It's very diverse, right? So that opened my eyes a lot, because then I had friends that hadn't, came from money. And, I went to NYU. I saw all sorts of different things, and then seeing with your own eyes, seeing is believing is what I'm trying to say.
Of course.
So you see with your own eyes that, this person came from my background. Now they're making millions. You start to believe it. And then, working in these organizations, the student loan consolidation company I talked to you about that went from 3 employees to 500 employees to being bought out for hundreds of millions of dollars, seeing that stuff makes you believe it. So I've seen so much of this stuff. I hate to say it sounds fucked up, but I'm kind of numb to it now, because I expect that shit to happen. I expect if I work with a client that they're going to grow tremendously. So really for me, it's just these stories that I've seen other companies do. It's my story too, my partner's story, how, we went from, I started this company as a side hustle so I could make more money and do this and do that, to, now having 2 companies make Inc. 5000, Inc. 500. So, I mean, I don't know if I had to tell me the best success story, I guess would be part of that solar company that one of my best friends went to, and they started a call center in a garage, 4 people in a call center. And the first 2 days they got 0 appointments. He calls me up and he's like, Dave, what am I going to do? I'm going to get fired. They put all this money into this. The CEO walks by every day and he's like, oh, we wasted another $2,000 on payroll, give him a hard time, busting his balls. So I got him on a call one night with a data provider that I knew. I'm like, listen, talk to this guy. He's going to get you age leads. And, you should get X amount of appointments off these age leads. You should get this. I gave him the KPIs he should get. The next day, they got 7 appointments. So they went from 0 2 days ago to 7 appointments. And that was the beginning of the call center. The call center went from 4 agents to 10 agents to 20 agents to this beautiful building. And I think they have 300 people in their call center right now, right? Wow. And the company's doing $500 million a year in sales. So, and I consulted that company. I was in their call center, I helped putting processes in place. They buy leads from me till this day. So that's I have so many stories. I mean, I probably forgot a bunch of them, but that's a story that I love, because, you see the growth, and I see the owners. I'm friends with the owners. I'm proud as fuck of them, man, because that's what happens when you put the right things together. You hire the right people, you have the right partnerships, and there's other stuff that they've done that, I don't even know about, that, I've helped them get to that point. But I think they have 2,000 employees now. At that time they probably had 30 employees. I think they made Inc. 57, 2 year or 47, multiple years in a row, in the top 100. Wow. So that's, to me, the beauty of business, is that it's like a blank canvas, and you can create that canvas and do whatever you want with that canvas. And that canvas could be something beautiful, and it's not going to be perfect. You're going to go up and down. There's going to be some fucked up parts of some edges, some this and that. But as long as you keep moving in the right direction, stay focused, you'll get to that point. So that's a story that I just love, because, I was intimately involved. I remember getting those calls. My wife, she wasn't married to me at the time, but we were going out. I would get calls from my boy 11:30 at night, 12 at midnight, about to go to sleep. And I'd be on the phone for 30 minutes. Listen, do this, do that. And then the shit would work. And then, he started to grow. They started to grow. I grew as well. We all grew together. And that's the beauty, is that if you help a business grow, you grow with them. You're part of that ride. And if you do the right thing with them, they'll be by you too. You stand by each other at the end of the day, because it's not easy. It's fucking hard as hell. But it seems easy later on, years later, this is easy. It's not. It's never easy. But the point is that story I love, because that goes to show you what could happen when you align everything together and do the right thing.
Love it.
You know what I love about that story? And people talk about people, and like you said, a lot of us, when we growing up, and depending where we grew up, depending that the climate that we grew up, we think about rich people's success as being the worst. So I asked, what is one of your best success stories? Anybody else would talk about something that they done. What he talked about was how he was able to help someone else to be successful. So that alone right there could tell you, see, like, look, man, and people will say, and I take this personally when people say, oh, that I grew up this way, I'm this way. No, you choose to be this way because you choose to live that life that you're in. Doesn't matter where you grew up. We all have different. Like, I came from a third world country. We have a poor mentality. My family, a lot of them have adopted that, and they have that victim mentality till today. Unfortunately, they do, even though you try everything and anything to actually change, they won't. But then that's a choice that we all have. How you live your life, if you want to live your life in poverty, money is abundant and you could do everything possible and you could be successful. Because life for you wasn't success until 2019, right, David?
I had really good years, but that's when things really started for the business. That's when I started to really believe that, man, this could be something big, right? It was like a momentum where things started to click, but I had some good years, but nothing like that. That's when things really started
like that. So you were in what almost 20-year overnight success?
Yeah, I mean, I guess you can see that. I hear that story a lot where people say, this guy's a 5, 10, 20, 30-year overnight success. And that, I guess you could say that. I mean, we asked about, the 9 to 5 and working. Yeah, I was never like a 9 to 5 person. I'd work extra or do whatever. But they say the harder you work, the luckier you get, right? So the point is that,
correct. Yeah,
that was the training, and everything that I learned at those companies helped put me in the position to grow the companies I have right now, and to continue to learn. Yeah,
that's awesome, man. That's awesome. Right, Rock.
Yeah, no, and David, I mean, that's really it as far as questions I have. My last question to you is for our viewers who are interested in talking to your team, interested in your services, how would they get in touch with you?
Yeah, it's a great question. So I'm on LinkedIn, David Stodolak, DavidStodolak. My Instagram, you follow me on Instagram too. I mean, I'm always traveling. I post my stories, good, bad, and ugly on there, so it's people like to look at my stories too. So Instagram, LinkedIn, those are pretty good areas to reach me. And listen, we like connecting with people. We like to provide value, and it's just great. I like what you guys are doing too. I mean, it's great. I mean, small businesses are the backbone of the American economy, right? Small businesses become large businesses and become behemoth enterprises, right? So it's just great to connect with other business owners and people that are creating value for the business community.
Well, awesome.
So, guys, so we have become a very, we are converting into this industry. We understand what they go through, and we understand how valuable they are to every business out there. So this is what we're preaching to you. Marketing is one of those things that you definitely need to put in your back pocket, and you need to be able to use every single day. So no matter what,
you need the funding for it.
Yeah, you need the money as well, though. So what we're going to do is we're going to put his information at the bottom of this video once we finish on this live, and also on the repurposed one. You'll have his information. We want to get in touch with David. Guys, this guy's a man that brings method man to a party. So,
I heard stories.
I didn't show you the picture of Maluma. I met Maluma too in the plaza. That was a great story. I told you that story.
Awesome. Did you?
Maluma baby. That's what we got.
That's awesome, bro. That's awesome. Hey, but David, you know what? Thank you for your time. And I know that you were very busy. You actually carved out a little time to be with us and for our audience as well. But thank you for your time. Thank you for being here with us today.
David, great having you.
I appreciate it. We'll be in touch.
Definitely. Take care.
All right. Thanks, David.